Jean Piaget's pioneering work in developmental psychology forever changed our understanding of the human mind. His groundbreaking theories on cognitive development, shaped by his own fascinating journey from childhood curiosity to renowned scholar, continue to influence educators and psychologists worldwide. As we delve into the extraordinary life of this intellectual giant, get ready to uncover the remarkable story behind the man who revolutionized our grasp of human growth and intelligence. As we explore the formative years of Jean Piaget's life, it becomes evident that his childhood curiosity and fascination with the natural world laid the groundwork for his future contributions to developmental psychology. Born in Neuchâtel, Switzerland in 1896, Piaget grew up in a family that valued intellectual pursuits and encouraged his inquisitive nature. His father, Arthur Piaget, was a historian who instilled in Jean a love for learning and a meticulous attention to detail. This exposure to historical research methods would later influence Piaget's own approach to studying child development. During his early years, Piaget spent countless hours observing and collecting mollusks, which sparked his interest in the natural sciences. This hobby not only honed his observational skills, but also introduced him to the concept of classification and categorization principles that would become fundamental to his later work on cognitive development. As he navigated the challenges of childhood, Piaget began to formulate questions about the nature of knowledge and how children acquire it. These queries would eventually drive his groundbreaking research in psychology. Piaget's educational journey took him to the University of Neuchâtel, where he studied natural sciences and philosophy. It was during this period that he became acquainted with the works of Henri Bergson, a French philosopher who emphasized the importance of intuition and creative evolution. Bergson's ideas had a profound impact on Piaget's thinking as he began to see the development of human knowledge as an active, constructive process. This perspective would later shape his theory of genetic epistemology, which posits that knowledge is not simply acquired through experience, but is actively constructed by the individual. As Piaget delved deeper into the world of psychology, he found himself drawn to the works of Pierre Janet, a French psychologist who stressed the role of action and experimentation in cognitive development. Janet's ideas resonated with Piaget, who saw parallels between the way children learn through play and exploration and the scientific method itself. This intersection of psychology and philosophy would become a hallmark of Piaget's approach, as he sought to understand the complex interplay between biological, psychological, and social factors that shape human development. During his time at the University of Neuchâtel, Piaget also had the opportunity to work with Édouard Claparède, a Swiss psychologist who was instrumental in establishing the field of child psychology. Claparède's emphasis on the importance of observation and experimentation in understanding child development had a lasting impact on Piaget, who would go on to conduct extensive research on children's cognitive abilities. One notable example of this research is Piaget's work with children on conservation tasks, such as pouring liquid from one container to another. By observing how children responded to these tasks, Piaget was able to gain insight into their understanding of concepts like volume and quantity. Piaget's relationships with his contemporaries, including psychologists like Lev Vygotsky and Yuri Bronfenbrenner, also played a significant role in shaping his theories. While Vygotsky's sociocultural approach emphasized the importance of social interaction in cognitive development, Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory highlighted the interplay between individual and environmental factors. Piaget's own work can be seen as a synthesis of these perspectives, as he sought to understand how children construct knowledge through active engagement with their environment. Some critics argued that his theories were too broad, failing to account for individual differences in cognitive development. Others saw his emphasis on stages of development as overly rigid, neglecting the complex and dynamic nature of human growth. Despite these criticisms, Piaget's work remains a cornerstone of modern psychology, offering valuable insights into the intricate processes that shape human cognition and behavior. One notable example of Piaget's significant research is his work on the concept of egocentrism in children. Through a series of experiments, Piaget demonstrated how young children often struggle to take other people's perspectives, instead focusing on their own thoughts and feelings. This research not only shed light on the cognitive limitations of childhood, but also highlighted the importance of social interaction in promoting empathy and understanding. As we delve deeper into Piaget's theory of cognitive development, it becomes evident that his work was not only influenced by his academic pursuits, but also by his personal experiences as a teacher and educator. His emphasis on active learning, experimentation, and discovery reflects his own approach to education, which emphasized the importance of hands-on experience and critical thinking. By examining Piaget's life and work through the lens of his personal experiences, we gain a deeper understanding of the complex factors that shaped his theories and contributions to psychology. Piaget's work also had significant implications for education, as it highlighted the importance of tailoring instructional methods to the unique needs and abilities of each child. By recognizing that children construct knowledge through active engagement with their environment, educators can design learning experiences that promote discovery, exploration, and critical thinking. This approach has been influential in shaping modern educational practices, from Montessori schools to project-based learning initiatives. As Piaget's work on egocentrism and conservation tasks continued to gain recognition, he began to develop his theory of cognitive development, which would eventually become a cornerstone of modern psychology. This theory posited that children progress through a series of stages, each characterized by a unique way of thinking and understanding the world. The first stage, known as the sensory-motor stage, spans from birth to approximately 2 years of age, during which children learn by using their senses and motor skills to interact with their environment. One notable example of Piaget's research during this period is his observation of children's ability to understand object permanence. He found that infants as young as 6 months old begin to realize that objects continue to exist even when they are out of sight, a fundamental concept that lays the foundation for later cognitive development. Piaget's work on object permanence not only shed light on the earliest stages of cognitive growth, but also highlighted the importance of active engagement with the environment in promoting learning and development. As Piaget delved deeper into his research, he became increasingly interested in the role of social interaction in shaping cognitive development. He believed that children learn and develop through their interactions with others, and that this process is essential for the formation of complex cognitive structures. This idea is reflected in his concept of schemata, or mental frameworks that help individuals organize and make sense of their experiences. According to Piaget, schemata are constantly being revised and updated as children encounter new information and challenges, a process he termed equilibration. Piaget's emphasis on social interaction and equilibration was influenced by his relationships with contemporaries, including psychologist Lev Vygotsky. Although the two men never met in person, their work shared a common focus on the role of active engagement and social interaction in cognitive development. Vygotsky's sociocultural approach, which emphasized the importance of language and culture in shaping cognition, resonated with Piaget's own ideas about the interplay between individual and environmental factors. Despite these similarities, however, Piaget's work was not without its criticisms. Some researchers argued that his stages of development were too rigid, failing to account for individual differences in cognitive growth. Others criticized his emphasis on solitary play and exploration, arguing that social interaction plays a more central role in learning and development than Piaget acknowledged. These criticisms notwithstanding, Piaget's theory of cognitive development remains one of the most influential and enduring contributions to modern psychology, offering valuable insights into the complex processes that shape human cognition and behavior. One of the most significant research projects undertaken by Piaget during this period was his study on children's understanding of time and space. He designed a series of experiments, including one in which children were asked to recreate a model of a mountain range using clay and other materials. By observing how children approached this task, Piaget was able to gain insight into their understanding of spatial relationships and their ability to think abstractly about complex concepts. This research not only shed light on the development of cognitive abilities, but also highlighted the importance of hands-on experience and active learning intellectual growth. Piaget's work on time and space also led him to explore the concept of decentering, or the ability to consider multiple perspectives and points of view. He believed that this ability is essential for complex thinking and problem-solving, and that it develops gradually over the course of childhood and adolescence. Through his research on decentering, Piaget was able to demonstrate how children's cognitive abilities become increasingly sophisticated as they mature, allowing them to tackle more complex challenges and think more abstractly about the world around them. As Piaget's work on cognitive development continued to evolve, he became increasingly fascinated by the ways in which children adapt to new information and challenges. He believed that this process of adaptation was essential for intellectual growth, and that it involved a delicate balance between assimilation and accommodation. Assimilation, according to Piaget, refers to the process of taking in new information and fitting it into existing mental frameworks or schemata. Accommodation, on the other hand, involves changing one's existing schemata to accommodate new information that doesn't fit. One of the most interesting examples of this process can be seen in Piaget's research on children's understanding of conservation. In one famous experiment, Piaget presented children with two identical glasses filled with the same amount of liquid. The children were then asked if the amounts were equal, and they readily agreed. Next, Piaget poured the liquid from one glass into a taller, thinner glass and asked the children again if the amounts were equal. Children in the pre-operational stage, which spans from approximately 2 to 7 years old, typically said that the amounts were no longer equal, despite the fact that the actual amount of liquid had not changed. This response, according to Piaget, reflects a lack of understanding of conservation, or the idea that certain properties remain constant even when appearances change. However, as children progress to the concrete operational stage, which spans from approximately 7 to 11 years old, they begin to develop a more nuanced understanding of conservation. They realize that the amount of liquid remains the same, regardless of the shape or size of the container. Piaget's work on conservation has had a lasting impact on our understanding of cognitive development, and it continues to influence research in this area to this day. His emphasis on the active role of the child in constructing their own knowledge and understanding of the world also laid the groundwork for later theories of learning and development. In addition to his work on cognitive development, Piaget was also deeply interested in the role of social interaction in shaping children's thinking and behavior. This idea is reflected in his concept of social constructivism, which suggests that knowledge and understanding are constructed through social interactions and negotiations. Piaget's ideas about social constructivism were influenced by his relationships with contemporaries, including the psychologist Lev Vygotsky. As Piaget's career progressed, he continued to explore the complex relationships between cognitive development, social interaction, and cultural context. His work took him to universities and research institutions around the world, where he engaged with scholars from a wide range of disciplines and perspectives. Through his research and writing, Piaget helped to establish developmental psychology as a major field of study, and his ideas continue to influence research and practice in this area to this day. One of the most significant aspects of Piaget's legacy is the way in which his theories have been applied in educational settings. His emphasis on active learning, hands-on experience, and social interaction has led to the development of innovative teaching methods and curricula that prioritize student-centered learning and critical thinking. For example, the Piagetian approach to education emphasizes the importance of allowing children to explore and discover concepts for themselves, rather than simply presenting them with prepackaged information. This approach has been particularly influential in the field of early childhood education, where it has led to the development of play-based learning programs that focus on fostering children's natural curiosity and creativity. By providing children with a supportive and stimulating environment, educators can help them develop the cognitive skills and strategies they need to succeed in school and beyond. His pioneering theories on cognitive development, social constructivism, and active learning have not only shaped the way we think about childhood education, but have also inspired generations of researchers, educators, and practitioners to reimagine the possibilities of human growth and potential. As Piaget himself once said, the main goal of education should be to create people who are capable of doing new things, not simply of repeating what other generations have done. These words serve as a testament to his enduring legacy, reminding us that the true power of knowledge lies not in its transmission, but in its transformation. That's all for today's Psych with Sigmund. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, may your ego find balance between pleasure and reality.